Studies major. And I didn't realize I was presenting today because I looked at the schedule. It said I was presenting on Wednesday in the other class. So because of that, I kind of had to scramble and rush the video at the end. So it feels a little abrupt. I didn't realize I was presenting today. But I'm presenting my project on homosexuality. I have a minor in school and family life, and that's kind of my emphasis. Studying homosexuality, the research been done, and how we're growing from it. So I thought it'd be a great idea to study it in Korea. So it's like a history, kind of like some culture, literature, and yeah. So it's about 6.5 minutes. I talked to Professor Peterson about this because I originally was supposed to do 2 different projects where I had 2 different topics. I present one here, present one in the other class. But that was just way too much. So instead I made a video. And so the video, even though it's a little bit shorter than the presentations, there's a lot more information, and it took me a million years to do. I don't know how volume works, to be honest. Do I have to do it? Oh, it's really loud. Okay.
So until the mid-1990s, homosexuality was officially acknowledged in South Korea and has been a big part of Korean history. It's believed in the early 1920s, homosexuality was introduced in Korea by the Japanese when they colonized the country. In comparison to Korea, Japanese culture was much more accepting and open about same-sex attraction. Despite the majority of Korea's population not being Confucian, strong core Confucian values are implemented in Korea's culture, making it harder for a conservative Korean public to fully accept same-sex attraction. One of the biggest issues affiliated with homosexuality is that Confucianism puts so much pressure on marriage and the obligation of the family. To have a Confucian relationship function properly, you must have the structure of a heterosexual relationship. If you go against this ideal, you may disgrace the family and your social status and respectability will plummet. Gabrielle, a graduate student in Korean literature at Seoul National University, states that many South Koreans believe homosexuality to be, and I quote, a vulgar topic, unworthy of public expression. To clarify what majority of South Koreans think this, I refer to the 2013 Gallup poll that found 71% of Koreans, aged between 18 and 29, believed homosexuality should be accepted, whereas only 16% of South Koreans 50 and over were for it. Let's look at 3 fundamental views why South Koreans believe same-sex attraction cannot be accepted. 1. It's a genetic problem. 2. It's all psychological. 3. Homosexuals simply decide to be same-sex attracted whenever they want to be. Finding evidences of homosexuality in Korea is almost impossible, being that only the elite could write and had the means of recording history. With this said, there are several claims that in the Goryeo dynasty, King Gongmin and King Mokjeong, and the Silla dynasty, King Haegong had several male lovers in their courts. The most popular example of homosexuality would be the Hwarangdo, or flower boys, the military leaders of the Silla dynasty. Hwarangdo had 5 main purposes. 1. Serve the king of loyalty. 2. Serve parents of piety. 3. Be faithful friends. 4. Never retreat in battle. And 5. Preserve life when possible. History inscriptions have hinted the Hwarangdo of having boy love in the worship as well. Throughout history, literature served as one of the best documentations of homosexuality. Author Yi Kwang-soo, founder of modern Korean literature, is well known for the deep emotions he pours into his writing to express what he was currently experiencing. Yi's sexual awakening would begin in 1905 in Japan. He would study abroad as a teen and experience the openness of same-sex attraction in Japanese culture. He would write the story Maybe Love based on a crush he had on an upperclassman in his Japanese all-male high school. Yi's technique of expressing his emotions is boldly and honestly expressed as he creates a story around male-to-male desire. It's important to note, as new Western ideas of homosexuality came to Japan, the Japanese began to oppose their openness and accept homosexuality as a sickness. Coincidentally, in 1918, Yi will revise his novel, clarifying that the male lead character is suffering from a mental illness that controls him to seek love from males. Theories arose to why he would make such a revision to his story. The most popular theory is because Yi Guangsu's parents died while he was young, he endorsed an orphan consciousness. Many believe, and I quote, that same-sex desire has roots in some troubled mental state. Out of an early 20th century sexological manual, you could easily find orphan consciousness along with many other analyses like sympathy theory, situational theory, and aesthetic homosexuality to explain same-sex attraction. It was common to find language to define these phrases like perversion, weird, and wrong. In response to Yi Guangsu's novel, Kim Hwan, a playwright-artist, wrote a same-sex love novel titled Tears of Sympathy. He clarified that the love between the two males was sympathy, not homosexuality. In addition to literature, media would participate in highlighting homosexuality. The first gay magazine, Buddy, was introduced in 1998. Making a big debut in 2005, The King and the Clown would become the highest-grossing movie in Korean history. The movie features a court affair between a king and his male jester. Korean drama, Personal Taste, is about a male, Lee Min-ho, that pretends to be gay in order to become a woman's roommate. In the entertainment industry, celebrities began to come out like Ha Ri-soo, Hong Seok-chun, and model Kim Ji-woo, who, in October of 2008, would hang himself. Police concluded that he committed suicide due to public prejudice against homosexuality. Most recently, pop idol Holland debuted in South Korea back in January as the first openly gay singer. Looking into politics of homosexuality in South Korea, there is little to no recognition of sexuality. In 2013, a bill was introduced to include sexual orientation to South Korea's anti-discrimination law. In response, it received great opposition from conservative groups in Korea. However, it should be noted that in a 2014 poll, 85% of Koreans believe homosexuals should be protected from discrimination. The South Korean military service is well known for being harsh on homosexuals. The entrance exam into the military includes a psychological test that asks questions about sexual preferences. Homosexual military members are defined as having personality disorders and behavioral disability. In addition to this, homosexual military members can be institutionalized and dishonorably discharged. The South Korean Constitutional Court is currently viewing a lawsuit that will decide whether Article 92 of the military law, explaining the punishment of homosexual soldiers, is a violation of military members' constitutional rights. At the moment, if a soldier is caught having sexual relations with another man, they could be punished up to 2 years in prison. In July of 2017, over 85,000 people marched Seoul's Pride Parade. Seoul's Pride Parade, or Rainbow Parade, started in 2000 and has slowly gained more popularity. For example, in 2016, only 15,000 people marched in the parade. By 2017, the parade had gained 35,000 more participants. Looking over this very brief Korean history of homosexuality, it's obvious that homosexuality has come a long way and is much more open within South Korean society today. Hopefully, as time continues on, the discrimination toward homosexuals in South Korea will come to an end.
Does anybody have any questions? Or?
You didn't talk about women at all.
Yeah, I didn't, because I don't really focus on that at all in the research I did. Like, it was mainly about men. That's what I found, which is really interesting. Yeah. Yes.
How does Korea stand in that sort of frame in comparison to other countries?
So in the past, like 20 or so years, they've had the biggest change of heart toward homosexuals. Like before, they're strictly against it, but compared to other countries, they are like the number